Yeah, everyone, this is Thermite, and this is Weekly Shonen Jump for the week of May 26th, 2019. On the cover, we have Beast Children. Not gonna read it. Actually, you know what? Fuck it, why not? Usually I read new jump starts on the, live stream, and I really didn't want to do that this week. Okay, so first of all, I was just about to say, I don't care about football. I don't know anything about football. But this is apparently about rugby, which I also know nothing about. So, slight difference. Not what I completely expected, but yeah, I mean, if it's pre-recorded, there's no real reason not to, sure. It's cool that they've already made a title for it. It's a generic-ish title, and I assume that, if it gets picked up, if it does really well and gets, a volume release, they'll change it, but, for a working title, it's not bad. Okay, the Olympics, the FIFA World Cup, and one more. What is the one more, then? I assume it's a rugby thing, but I didn't know rugby was that big, honestly. It feels so hot-blooded already, and this art style does really, lend itself to being super hot-blooded. Alright, never mind, we are not doing that. I was getting part of the way through Beast Children, and then I stopped. I was like, nah, let's not. I don't know if I can fully explain why. It was just, there is a scene, I mean, if you're listening to this, you probably wanted to see me do Beast Children, but I didn't put it in the timestamps, so obviously I didn't do it. I think it's just that it feels very visceral. It feels like it's trying to make my heart pump. It's trying to make me hot-blooded, but it just is not doing that for me. And I feel like that's just a commonality with a lot of sports series. I've been into sports series and game series that are more analytical, but if it's trying to make my blood pump, then sports just don't do it for me. So anyways, let's jump right into Actage, Chapter 66. Speaking of things that get my blood pumping, or lack thereof. I mean, Actage isn't a series that is meant to make your blood pump, which is why I like it. I like the fact that it is mostly just character interactions. That is the core of the series. It is people working with people. So you threatened to leave stars if you didn't get your way? Okay. In that case, what did she... I mean, it might have just been as simple as she got mad and, her mom caved in. I mean, yeah, it doesn't seem like he's doing anything quite this insane, quite this shonen, but he started off from a lower place, from a much more generic place, so I'm glad that he's still, he's reaching for his dreams. Is he going to another country, though? I don't think we talked about that before. They say if you don't see a boy for 3 days, he grows so much you won't recognize him. Okay. I can see that. She has nothing to lose. Either she risks it all right now, or even then, she's still gonna grow out of her role. We saw that before. Or not her role, but her image. So, for most people, I feel like they might be okay with sticking with it, playing the safe route, but she does not want to do that. She wants to go for it. Okay. That is insane. We already built up the fact that he was a director, or, that he has incredible directorial skill. But I thought legitimately that we were going to keep it to the music video. This really feels like the big climactic arc of Actage now. Everyone is in this. Or not absolutely everyone, but people from all the arcs are now here. Yeah, it's not just him. Almost everyone here is a top-tier celebrity, especially... Yeah, Araya's here. God damn, this is star-studded. Okay, so, I read through the script, or at least this part of it. I'm curious as to what the actual entire play is about, though. It can't just be this, right? I mean, maybe. Maybe if it is supposed to be mostly, dialogue between these two people. That's what it feels like. It feels like it is meant to be, it's the duo versus the duo. So maybe it is mostly just this, small segment of Journey to the West. That's a thick script, though. I mean, to be fair, it could be set up like the other play, where there are, two major characters, but then we do, flashbacks and stuff to introduce other people, but, the core focus of it is one scene, or, one location. Yeah. Right. When he died, it was a wake-up call. Her time is limited. You can't just wait around for roles. You can't wait around to work with people. There's always the possibility that they'll die, or even that they'll take on some project and you'll never see them again, or you'll never be able to work with them again. like, not only does this feel climactic, but at the same time, like, because we're doing this now, because we're introducing Death Island characters, because it's a stage play, like, because it is tying together almost every arc in the series thus far, like, it's because of that, like, we can't do it again, right? We can't do just this, but more in the future. So, like, this might be the last time we see people from Death Island or like certain people from Death Islands. Like, obviously, Chiyoko is probably going to still be around. Jesus Christ, he's been there all night? Okay. I mean, the other thing really, like, now that I'm thinking about it, now that I'm, like, I have more of a scene in my mind as to, like, what in the world they're really doing. Like, I can understand why he was cast now. Because he has this very, like, devilish charm that from what I've heard of Journey to the West, from what I know of Son Goku, it feels like he does have that energy. Like that devil may care attitude. Whereas Yanagi being more, I guess the interesting thing there is that it feels like Princess Ironfang is supposed to be, like, she's supposed to be steely, but then she has, like, a lot of inner turmoil going on. And that does fit her, like, it fits Kei's abilities. It fits Kei's ability to, like, to be very calm, but then to show off a wide array of emotions with very subtle movements. And now her new ability from the stage play of, like, being able to amplify those tiny little movements so that an entire audience can read them. Like, they make a really good pairing. Not a whole lot else to really say, though. Like, this chapter was very straightforward. It told you exactly what was going on. There's not a whole lot of, like, deep subtext to it. It was very straightforward, which isn't bad at all. Like, it mostly is just setting up that, hey, this is a big production. Here's all the people working on it. Here we go. I think the main thing that we brought up was the fact that Arisa is so deeply, like, committed to this. That this is the big gamble of, like, she's not willing to just sit around until she naturally expires. She wants to grab on with her teeth. She wants to become a big, well-known actress. And realistically, even though this is a duel, there's no reason why it can't work out well for both people. There's no reason why her and Kei can't both have incredible rave reviews. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. That was Actage. Next is Black Clover, Chapter 206. Alright, so they're still doing alright. God, she's gonna freaking faint. Like, I guess it depends. I don't really remember how everyone's acted when they've been released from the elves, but I mean, I know Yuno remembers everything, but Yuno's also a very special case. Will she remember everything once the elf leaves her body? Because if so, she's gonna die over this. Like, being in such a small, confined area with Yami, and also the fact that she, quote unquote, was acting so hostile. So, as I said last time, I don't know how we're going to win this. Like, there's a lot of powerful people here, but I don't see the win condition. Like, I don't see the weakness in word magic that can be used. I mean, apart from just, overpowering it with raw power. But, I mean, with this number of important people all here at one place, that's a big deal. Oh, that lady's key. Okay, so, first of all, that implies that, yeah, like, he was reading Nero's key in the past. Or I guess maybe not even, like, intentionally. It's probably closer to just, he's been able to see everyone's key. Nero's been around, so he's able to recognize it, but he can't, like, fully make the connection because, she's not a tiny bird. Wait, let's help Lick. I mean, oh, that's right. We still have that confusing situation of, like, Lick's body is there, but his mind isn't. So the big question, I guess, is, like, where is his mind? Like, can they fully revive him, or is it gone? Okay, so Lick's soul is definitely here, but he hasn't fully awakened. Okay, fair enough. My sealing magic can release any seal. Are we getting licked back, of all people? Oh my god. Okay, I mean, the deck's getting more and more stacked. But that said, like, I feel like most Black Clover fights are not, won through just raw, overwhelming power. There has to be some strategy here, and I don't know what the strategy is. Like, okay, so we have Licked, we have his light magic, we have Sekira's power to, like, seal and unseal things. That feels very useful here. We've got the first Wizard King. There's Asta, I mean, Asta anti-magic. Anti-magic's always useful. So, I mean, it could be as simple as just wearing out the Divan. Okay, I like this. I like that he is also, like, he's not accusing Patry for everything he's done. He knows that he was being manipulated, but he wants to just say, like, hey, I'm going to set the record straight. I know you're loyal enough to me that you're going to believe this. Just hear me out. Lumiere is a good guy. I mean, also, I didn't really consider that, but it is true. Like, it is basically the same thing of you strayed from your path, you're doing something awful, and someone came forward to stop you. Like, it's kind of a cycle. I mean, this is extremely climactic. I know a lot of people have mentioned that, like, this feels like an ending, and I know for a fact it's not. Like, Yuki Tabata wants Black Clover to be long, long, long. There's a lot we can do. We can bring in more demons. We've only explored one kingdom and a bit of the Diamond Kingdom. Like, there's a lot more to do. But still, like, this is the 500-year story of the Clover Kingdom. Like, basically, not coming to an end, but it's hitting a climax. So I can understand why people think it's so explosive. One who used a forbidden spell of the highest order, another who absorbed his magic. In other words, they've been affected by that world. Okay. So it's not even that it was raw power, it's that, like, they've been altered. Their magic is fundamentally different now that they've been affected by that world, which they have been bringing up multiple times. Like, the fact that it's, a different dimension, that it's his dimension of origin, it's that world. Like, it can't be as simple as, it's the demon world or something. The fact that they're being so vague about it. I mean, part of it might just be that there's a specific word that we don't know about. But part of it must feel like there's something more to it. Is it also where anti-magic comes from, then? Because, like, this beast isn't anti-magical, but it absorbs magic, and that's, like... I mean, I guess it isn't. Like, anti-magic is fundamentally different from this. But I feel like there's gotta be a connection, then. Like, if not a direct connection, then they're still in the same realm of, like, meta-magic. Like, magic that affects other magic. Okay. What are they doing? Like, are these just attacks? Because it doesn't look like they're actually hitting him. I mean, okay, never mind. I see. Like, there was some, like, it was some near misses, and then here's where they actually hit him. And that does make sense. Like, if you're just that fast, then, like, if you use... You don't have to be stronger than his words. You just have to be faster than them. As long as he can't get one off, it's fine. Oh boy. Also, did he take off an arm? Yeah, he did. Jesus Christ. Okay, like, the plan is a lot simpler than I thought. It's not as strategic as I imagined, but it makes sense. Like, just blitz the demon a bunch and then, like, slip Asta in there. Like, presumably, as long as he can't heal from anti-magic, or as long as Asta can use his anti-magic to destroy the more, like, esoteric things that the demon creates, they should at the very least be able to start, like, whittling him down. Because once the demon doesn't have any more tricks, it just comes down to, like, mana versus mana, and they have more people with a ton of mana. Like, even then, I feel like that'd be a weird way to win, because it's too close to just, we have overwhelming power and we just, we're beating down someone who's weaker than us. But I don't know if the demon's going to lose here. That's the thing. I feel like it makes way more sense for someone who is basically, like, the potential next enormous antagonist of the series. I would love to see him, like, be hurt enough that he has to skedaddle. He has to leave. It wouldn't feel like an anticlimax to me, because it would be like, if he fought any further, maybe he could kill some of them, but he chooses to retreat at that point. I think that'd be fine. Like, that would be a good way to not even end the arc, but just to, like, to end this fight. And then we could, like, focus on the Clover Kingdom fixing itself and the new changes in the status quo. But overall, good chapter. I mean, as is tradition, I forgot to rank Act Dodge, but I mean, it's pretty simple. This was definitely more exciting than Act Dodge. So I'll put that right above. Alright, that's Black Clover. I mean, I've said everything I can about my predictions. But, I mean, shoutouts to the art. Absolutely gorgeous, as always. God damn it, Black Clover, you are a treat to read every single week. Alright, next is Food Wars, Shokugeki no Soma, Chapter 312. Okay, so Mana ate the food, and then a gifting occurred, but we don't know what it was. It was different from the normal gifting. My theory was... what was my theory? Oh... My theory, which I have very little faith in, was that everyone was going to swap clothing for some reason. Like, it's so different and unexpected that the gifting is also different and unexpected. The storm he's pulled me into, it's not the typical storm of the culinary wastelands. It's once summoned at his command, a black magic spell. Okay. Oh! Okay, it's disintegrating. Their clothes aren't just flying off, they're getting shredded. Okay, plate 312, a flavor to call your own. I mean, that's pretty amazing. It's not as inventive as I expected, but like it's still pretty cool. And I mean, when it comes to the mechanics of the gifting, I guess this does, it's less ridiculous than having them swap clothing. Their clothes are flying off in shreds. That makes this the bursting. In other words, the effects of the gifting and the bursting have been triggered at the same time. Yep. So, she can't deny it. She did find it tastier, and it was tastier in a different way. I mean, I guess that makes sense, but I mean, also, this feels like it's kind of coming out of nowhere. Like, I get that Mana's having a change of heart. She understands the difference now that she's had Soma's dish, but she was kind of shitting all over everyone for a while. Like, this feels weird. I get the point, though. Like, the point is, Asi Saiba doesn't have his own flavor. Though, even then, that feels so weird because his ability is, like, unless it is as supernatural as the gifting, like, it's the way I thought about it. I assumed it was supposed to be that, he's just so skilled that he can imitate their abilities that well, as opposed to, like, supernaturally copying them. I do agree, though, like, based on this logic, it does make sense. Like, of course, Mana would then choose Soma. Like, for someone who can, challenge her, that can give her completely different things, it's different than just adding a bunch of stuff together. It's also neat in that respect that Soma broke in, like, through the first challenge by just the sheer power of addition. But this time, it wasn't addition, it was the fact that he was able to add a bunch of things together and add something of his own. You made such a big deal about how you're the one who beat Joichiro, but it turns out the dad I chased after when I was a kid was much, much stronger. Alright, Saiba's done. Saiba is done. The winner is Soma Yukihira. Alright, he made it to the finals. I do like that, by the way. That before, like when he was fighting Subaru, it was a case of all these people have a deep desire, like their knives mean a lot to them. So of course we need to defeat Subaru and return all the knives. But with this, like, this is a knife that Soma has a claim to, and he chooses not to take it because, like, why would he want that? Like, he doesn't believe that it's his knife, so why would he want it back? He doesn't believe it's his dad's knife anymore. Why would he want to give it to his dad? Okay, all you have to do is find that special someone who makes you want to give them the best food you've ever made. So that makes sense. Like, because he's so worked up about being a perfect chef, like, of course, the person he would fall in love with would be someone with the tongue. He would want someone who was, like, so ultra deliberate that he would, like, be constantly challenged, trying to make new and better things for her. I mean, that also makes sense. Like, that's what he thought he wanted, but really, it's more that he wanted a family, I guess. I guess that's what we're going with. Okay, I do like that. I like that we're leaving it as, like, it's not that he is a failure, it's not that he is a liar, like, he is still Asahi Saiba. He's still Joichiro's protege. He is still, like, like, he hasn't lost anything. It's just, he's no longer doing what he was trying to do, which is fine. I think that's a fair place to leave his arc. But okay, Soma Yukihira, don't get the wrong impression. Is she going to try and say that, even so, even though you delighted my taste buds, this was a fluke? I'm not going to let you cook for me anymore. Because I do feel like we're going to end this with him telling her, hey, I'm not going to be your personal chef. Screw you. If you want food, come to Yukihira. But apart from that, I don't know what else we're going to do. And while I have been saying repeatedly that I think this is going to be the final arc, like, I feel like Jump's gonna end Soma, this doesn't feel like the chapter before a final chapter, and, like, we're running, like, next week, I believe, is the final new Jumpstart for a little while, so if Soma continues past next week, then it's just going to keep on going. Like, there's no reason for it to quit at that point. And this doesn't feel like it's going to end next chapter. It feels like we're just going to continue on, maybe go to another arc. I don't know if I really want that, but we'll see. We'll see. I mean, actually, what am I saying? We don't, like, if this is the final arc, then we still have more to do. This is still the semifinals. Like, we still have the whole Soma Erina fights. Like, that still needs to happen. So what am I saying? We have at least, like, 1 or 2 more chapters left. And even then, like, if they want to go into another arc, like, I'll be willing to read it. I'm not going to drop the series, but I'll be very concerned. This last arc has not been the greatest. But that was Food Wars. Pretty alright. It wasn't the kind of climax I really wanted, so I'll put it below Black Clover. Like, I mean, the one I wanted is Misnomer. It's more just that it didn't excite me as much as it should have. It was fine. It made sense. It wasn't, like, it didn't come out of nowhere. But it didn't do that little extra that I wanted. That little tiny bit extra that would have made it a special, like, fight. After all of this, after we've built up to this for so long, it doesn't feel as satisfying as I wanted it to be. All right, well, that is Food Wars. Next is Samurai 8, Chapter 3. So, first of all, Samurai 8, I'm going to keep it as a pre-recorded series. I'm still not super into it, but I'm willing to give it a shot. Like, I'm willing to stick with it for a while. That said, you might be wondering where Chainsaw Man is. Chainsaw Man's a live stream series now. I was talking with my friends. They really just wanted Chainsaw Man to be in the live streams, and now that I'm picking up fewer series, I mean, we still have next week to see if I'll pick that one up, but since things have been shaking around, and since Chainsaw Man is such a short read usually, I figured why not? Why not toss it into the live streams? Okay, Cutting the Tank. I mean, that's a pretty exciting title, that's for sure. That's smart, though. Like, that is pretty smart. It's the same thing as having, like, you know, a gun with a biosensor. Okay, so, I mean, I assumed that this was going to be a pure Hachimaru and no name, like, arc. Just because our character without a name was just introduced. It would have been pretty cool to just have them doing this. Maybe that'll still happen, though. Like, maybe they'll take care of the bandits before these guys come in. And then that'll be how they'll both be recognized as, like, possibly good Bushi going forward. Wait a minute, a key holder? I mean, we know that their spines are called keys. Like, I really like the terminology so far. It's the kind of terminology where I feel like it does have extra meanings to it, and I can't quite, like, they're not immediately apparent right at the very starts. Yeah, are you a real key samurai? You're right. Okay, that makes sense. Like, because they said key holder, I mean, I guess that's just a key holder is a holder that is owned by a key samurai. I thought they were about to imply something like Hachimaru could take his key out of his body and stick it into a key holder to, like, transform. So I guess it's the other way around, right? Like, it's more that a key holder can be, like, melted onto a key samurai. If you can teach lessons with underwear examples, you're the real thing. And that's true. Like, because he's a hikikomori, like, they wouldn't know him. They wouldn't have recognized him. I mean, this is an entire dojo too, so I guess what we're going to see is the scaling of here's all the trainees, then here's how Hachimaru fights, but he's been a samurai for one day, and then we'll see what Nanashi can do. Oh, he can't draw it. And that's not even like his like soul energy one. That's just the model one as far as I know. Oh, you smell the same gunpowder when we got shot out of the sky. Okay, yep, so they know, they understand now. Oh. Okay, I see. But even then, I mean, I feel like oh my god, okay. So we know this arc is called Cutting the Tank, and, like, the tank shaped like a cake. That we're gonna have a gag about that, I assume. What if Hachimaru uses the sword while it's still sheathed, and just uses the sheath to cut the tank in half? I feel like that's what we're doing now. I mean, first of all, weird? I mean, interesting power. Like, any power that's, like, controlling your mass or, like, controlling goop or anything, like, it's very versatile, but it's not really what I expected from a holder. Like, it feels almost too versatile, even though, like, they have had that aesthetic of being goopy and, like, liquidy. Like, it's not that it comes out of nowhere, it's just, it feels odd. It's a weird precedent to sets that they can just kind of do this. I'm also super interested to see what Nanashi's fighting style is going to be like now. Like, because he has this weird split personality thing with his hands. Is it going to be that each of them has a different fighting style? The Hagen Sweets too, so they're aware that they're pig shape. Like, they are aware that their theme is being pigs, hence the Hagen, and they're also very aware that their tank is shaped like a cake. So none of that is an accident. None of it's just a thing that is there. It's all intentional for some reason. I don't know why, but it sure is. You're not your right hand or your left hand. You are you. Your right hand and I both love you. We're not going to criticize you. So why don't you come up with your own answer this time? All right. Okay, I'm down for this. I mean, the big question then is just like, I mean, I guess like the game was made by a real samurai for the purpose of finding good samurai. So even if the only thing he's ever done is play the game, he should still have the skills to be a great samurai. Like, it took me until right now to realize that. I was gonna ask, like, how can he be this good? Isn't he just a NEET, or isn't he just a Hiki? Okay, cutting the tank. Also, I guess it is, it's part of it's that it's Nanashi, but also part of it is that Nanashi is just turning off the ID lock, whereas all the power most likely comes from Hachimaru. That helmet you got is weaker than underwear. Good classic samurai samurai line. Okay. I'm saying in the future, it's not a tank I'm dreaming of cutting with you, but a cake. So, I mean, is this a crush? Are we doing this? Is it a legit crush? Because that also explains the whole why is this tank a cake thing. It is a metaphor. I mean, I'm into it. I'm kind of into it at the very least. It feels really weird to set up like something like this early on in a shonen series, though. Like, something like this that is actually hinted at to be maybe serious, as opposed to most series where it's just, there's a female character here. Because also, Nanashi isn't necessarily female. We don't know what gender Nanashi is. Okay, someday when I become a real key samurai and have my own true name without any indecision, then maybe I'll explain it to you. So, not my favorite, like plotline in any series, but I can respect it as like an ongoing thing of, I'm going to make peace with myself, I'm going to become strong, and after that, I'm going to confess. I mean, also, like, especially if it's not going to be like a legit romance that's focused on, if it's just a character motivation, I think that's more, like, it's more doable. It's something I can deal with a bit better. But all right, it's better than doing nothing. This way, at least I feel like I'm really here. Man, I cannot get used to Hachimaru's glasses on his hair. Like, it doesn't look cool to me. It looks so weird every time I look at it. Like, even if they're just rotated a bit, and they look, I don't know, more like a scouter from Dragon Ball, sort of. Like, not the scouter when it's over the eye, but the scouter when it's, like, pulled away. Maybe. But like this, it literally just looks like he broke his glasses and then they're kind of floating there. Like, there's no depth to it. I can't even tell how they're supposed to be attached, apart from just, like, being stuck on the hair. Okay. Right. It's a heart's blade only possessed by a samurai who's become a key, a samurai soul. Okay. So, I don't know if we're going to really dig into this, though. Like, again, this feels like something that would take a long time for most other series to go into. Like, I do want to know what's up with Hachimaru's dad, but is there something special about Hachimaru? What's going on here? What's with this gravitational pull? I mean, it could be a metaphor, but also, like, we know that the samurai really do have, like, weird, like, floating Jupiter/Saturn things floating around them, like actual bits of stardust. So it might be literal gravitational pull, or it might just be more of a, like, spiritual gravitational pull or something. Well, I hope we get an answer, and I hope it's an answer that is, like, actually given to us, the audience, because very recently we had those two jump starts, Nailation and Hellwarden Higama, and they both, like, almost at the same time, around, what was it, like chapter 10 or so, they did this arc of, all right, we did a few stories, now who's our main character, what's with our main character, what's the flashback? I'd like to kind of get that right now. Like, that would definitely make me a little more invested in the series. Anyways, Samurai 8, alright, not my favorite. It slid right into where Hellwarden Higama is in terms of, like, my jump series of nothing special. I mean, realistically, I do like Nanashi. I think Nanashi has an interesting storyline. Like, I don't really like enjoying characters just because of the concept of them, because you can have a good concept. You can make good concepts for days. Like, Tite Kubo of Bleach fame was a genius at coming up with, like, 5 different new cool character concepts whenever he needed to push the story along. But a good concept is not a good character. So for now, I like Nanashi as a concept. Lots of cool, interesting stuff with them. But overall, I'm feeling a bit lukewarm. All right, that was Samurai 8. Next is The Last Saiyuki, Chapter 12. Sorry about that cut, by the way. Like, I know for a fact it didn't work out. I'm going to have to recut it. Whatever. I mean, we've got this dynamic of she has no idea what Kohaku is. All she knows is just like it's a person. It's a person who can float around, but she can't wield a Nyoibo. Okay, so someone on this island had their mo filled with fear. Okay, that's actually pretty cool. Like 500, so it's not like exclusive, like ultra super duper exclusive, but for Japan, for such a a large number of people all packed into a small area, like 500 is very thinly spread, but at the same time, like it's not ridiculously thinly spread. It really depends on how often people's mo get awakened. Because if it's just like, every once in a while, like across multiple cities, then this makes sense. If it happens a lot, then it might get tricky. And I feel like then we're going to have an arc in the series where like the bad guys open up a bunch of mo, like more than 500 a day, and so everyone has to constantly scramble and run around while they do some other big plan in the background. Ah, okay. So that's also interesting. Like, yeah, even if they've defeated their own fear once, they don't want to get involved in monsters again. So it's not necessarily that, like, it's not like everyone is like Ryunosuke. Even if your mo is open, that doesn't necessarily mean that you get defeated. It also doesn't mean that you have to, or how do I put this? Like, it doesn't mean that you have to become a Nyoibo user. It also doesn't mean that you get white Haku'd. Like, there is a part in between. You can just be aware, you can know what's going on, and then call in the people who are actually good at fighting, which I think is very pragmatic. Like, it means that they have fewer forces and that more people have to do, or fewer people have to do more work. But at the same time, like, I can appreciate that from a human point of view, from the point of view of like not trying to militarize everyone who was once a victim. Also, immediately showing off Kohaku's like usefulness here. What the fuck is that? Oh boy, that is that an Inugami maybe? Like a dog spirit? Oh. Okay. Defense first against unknown monsters, the worst move you can make. And he has like a rifle Nyoibo. I mean, again, kind of stretching what a Nyoibo is. Also, interesting thing to note, like, that has been consistent. It's been consistent that Ryunosuke has, like, his immediate action has been to defend, and we've seen that a couple times. But every time Gohaku, like his father, ever got into a fight, or when we've seen him, like, when we've seen the two of them working together, Gohaku was always the one to immediately try to, like, shoot the monster in the throat. So, that makes sense. Like, just, there's no reason not to, especially because a Nyoibo is a weapon that can, like, extend itself and retract. You can't, like, it's very difficult to lose it. Like, you could also just shrink it down if a monster has, like, a tight grip on it. So, there's really nothing to lose from trying to shoot first. Okay, we can't shapeshift our Nyoibos during a battle like you, so we find a transformation that suits us beforehand. That makes sense. Like, that allows our main character to have a lot of versatility and for him to have, like, the classic Nyoibo that everyone thinks of, while at the same time, it gives everyone else their own gimmick. Like, they can still extend and retract theirs. I assume they can also make them grow and shrink, but they can't, like, do crazy amounts of shapeshifting. Like, again, I'm surprised that she's mad about this, though. Like, before, the first time we saw her, she was in full magical girl gear, gear. And I feel like that's honestly better. Like, I'm surprised she isn't in that again. Like, if wearing that is what makes her feel confidence, then I see no reason not to have her wear it. Especially here, like, on a basically, like, not abandoned island, but on such an, like, underpopulated islands. Like, why not? Why not go all in with Magical Girl thing? Also, I love the mix of, like, pseudoscience and real science we have here. In the sense that, like, this isn't pseudoscience. Like, it's a myth that existed in the past that was pseudoscientific, but it was based on a real illness. And here, like, it's both at the same time now. Like, this is the illness made manifest into the pseudoscientific explanation that existed for it in the past. That's such a cool aesthetic. Like, there's so many things we've had in, like, throughout human history, where it's been, like, this mysterious illness that's been, like, it's a curse, or it's something given by a monster, or it is inherently a monster that's attacking you, or, like, a demon or something. All those things can exist in The Last Saiyuki, and that's not even the main focus of the series. It's just a small portion of it. Okay, its most terrifying ability is how infectious it is. Master can make his Nyoibo so thin that it won't harm the human body. So like it's so extremely sharp that it's cutting into him, but it's not actually like hurting him. Like, is that what I'm saying? Is that what we're going with? Is it so obscenely thin that like it's like those blades where you can cut an apple, then stick the apple back onto itself, and then it'll like in the few seconds it takes to like stick it there, it'll already heal. Like, are we saying it's that sharp? So that also like creates some extra variety. It's not just going to be extremely enormously powerful monsters. With this one specifically, it's just infectious. Like there's a ton of them, and you have to kill all of them, or else like if you leave one alone, they'll repopulate the entire island once more. Okay, the fact that it's coming towards us means that all the living people on this island have likely already been infected with Korori. But yeah, and I understand his logic now. It's not that she's weak, it's that this is personal. Like, it was an infectious monster, it's a disease monster, she has experience with it, it's going to scare her. Like, and they can't deal with having that happen. To like not just that, but specifically because she has like it's manifested once before. If the idea of fighting a disease monster scares her well enough, the same one that, killed her mom is going to come up again. Like, she is a liability. That just makes sense. But I'm assuming, like, because of the way this is set up, she's not going to be able to get out. No one's going to be able to come in. It's going to, like, they're just going to have to do this all themselves. I have never received a compliment from him. But again, I hate it and I love it because we understand why, though. Like, it's because he's trying to suppress his emotions. It's because of that specifically, and because, he saw that her mom like got killed due to a sudden burst of emotion. Like, that would also cause him to try and suppress his emotions even more when she's involved. I love it because in any other series, this is the kind of character that I would be very irritated with. The character who doesn't explain themselves, who is very cold without like a reason. But because we know the reason, I completely am fine with him. Like, I get the problem from both sides now. Oh, there's no Torii gates. That's also such a simple way to, like, in most other places in Japan, this wouldn't be a problem. Like, because they're on an isolated island, they can do this. With anywhere else, it would just be inconvenient, I suppose. Like, they would just have to find the closest near Torii gates. But with this, like, because it's gone, all they can do is, like, take a boat to leave at this point. And I assume they can't leave. Like, they've got to just do the extermination now. I mean, presumably reinforcements could come with a boat, but again, there's only 500 of them, and it's not as simple as teleporting. They'd have to, like, have someone teleport to the nearest Torii gate and then take a normal boat across. Okay, well, the stakes have been raised. This arc is, like, I get it now. I get how scary this arc is going to be. I'm really glad that Estelle can't leave, though, because I want to see her, like, grow to meet this challenge. Like, in the same way that this is going to be really tough for her because it's so similar to the thing that killed her mom. At the same time, I imagine that defeating the Korori is also going to, like, it's going to cause a shift in her. Either she's going to gain a new special power, or at the very least, like, she'll grow as a person, become more stable. Maybe she'll become a little more competent. I also understand why she's not wearing the outfit now. It's because we've got to have that exciting moment where she has, she freezes up, she doesn't know if she can do it, but then she resolves herself, she puts on the outfit, and then she kicks a bunch of ass. Also, the tiny bit of lore we got here about, like, having a Nyoibo that's already shaped in the way you want it from the very start because you can't, like, shapeshift in mid-combat, that's cool. It means that there's a wide variety of Nyoibo that we can see in the future. And, like, also, that it's not going to be as simple as everyone has a default Nyoibo and then they turn it into their special one. It's just going to be they have a special one from the start. Like, presumably, anyone with enough skill, anyone can do anything with a Nyoibo, so it's not even that big of a deal. Like, we even saw here, like, he's using his bayonet Nyoibo, but he was able to, like, make it so long and thin that it was able to go through someone without hurting them. It's also interesting, like, I said before, I don't really know what his theme is, and that still is the case. Like, the fact that it's not a gun but a bayonet specifically is interesting. Because it's not that the power of having a gun is what keeps him calm. It's specifically, like, because if that were the case, he wouldn't even need to use the bayonet. He could legitimately just make a gun and then have, like, the barrel extend to simulate a gunshot. Like, extend out and in really quick. But instead he specifically uses a bayonet, implying that, like, seeing someone with an old rifle with a bayonet is something that makes him feel strong. Like, that's his idea of what a hero is. Well, I mean, of the three, of the four characters we have here, he's definitely the least explored at this point. So, I'm hoping this arc actually explores both of them a bit. They're both interesting enough, and I'm excited. Like, I'm invested. I really am invested. The Last Saiyuki is just so consistently good. So I am going to put that. Uh, I mean, I don't think it deserves to be over Black Clover. Black Clover was a solid, solid chapter, but this was also very solid. It's weird for me to say that I have a bias against series that are consistently good, but that seems to be the case. It seems like, in general, I like speaking clearly from the heart without overthinking it. I usually do like prefer series that have big highs and lows because when the lows are low, they sure are low. But when they're high, I think about them as like, oh wow, that was amazing, that was spectacular. Like, it's the same reason why I tend to rank The Promised Neverland underneath other series. It's not that it's bad, it's that it's just so consistent. And The Last Saiyuki is, much like Actage, extremely consistent. Alright, so, next, I mean, okay, that is the end of the pre-recorded segment. Next is the live stream. Yeah, everyone, this is Thermite, and this is Weekly Shonen Jump, the live stream version. I never know how to start this, but I'm sure I am starting it. So we're starting this off with We Never Learn, chapter 112. Wait, is it supposed to be winter? Wait a minute. I mean, We Never Learn has never had like a strong sense of time, but I thought it mostly followed the same seasons as real life. I mean, I guess not, because they haven't gone through an entire year of school, but still, that's odd. Sometimes worrying about the heat and a coat goes into... Okay, so We Never Learn has titles that are generally pretty weird, but this feels especially weird. Sometimes worrying about the heat and a coat goes against a well-intentioned ex. What is this chapter going to be about? I mean, apart from being hot. Like, I see how we could make hot things lewd. Okay, after this, I'm supposed to... What is the conflict here, though? Apart from just, I guess it's hot. Okay. Because I'm cold. But why? I mean, okay, so this is where the coat comes in. That makes sense. It's not incorrect, but... After that big bowl of super spicy ramen, I still can't stop sweating. Okay. I see the problem here, then. Okay, also Zaku, see ya. But wait a minute. Okay, I understand the problem now, but it's a strange problem. Like, Taishi Susui, how in the world did you come up with this? It does make sense, though. I can't say I've been in this situation, but I understand it. It's the combination of, I don't want someone to see me sweaty, which I've had myself, even on the streams. Like, if my pits are really sweaty, I feel kind of weird about it, which is why I tend to generally wear shirts that are, dark colored. But is that going to be the escalating conflict of just Urika gets sweatier and sweatier as she gets hotter? Is that a conflict that we can do? I mean, her shirt's already see-through. You can't go any further than that. Fair enough. I made you a piping hot lemon ginger tea. I mean, that's the problem. The problem isn't that Urika's, that she's hiding her body. It's specifically that she doubled down on this thing of being hot. Which is awful. Like, that is the crux of We Never Learn. It's the rom-com situation of creating a problem and then committing to it and then refusing to back down, which is something I've definitely felt in my own life, in my own relationships. This is too real. This is actually extremely too real now that I think about it. Why the scarf? Like, is it just to, like, double down on the fact that you feel cold? That is true, though. Like, I've been in offices where, like, the guys are, sweaty, the girls are super cold, so I can see why Naruyuki wouldn't immediately jump to the conclusion of something weird is going on. How can you be that shy? I mean, this is coming from me. Even I have never been so shy that I've thought, like, oh no, I'm sweating too much. The closest thing I could think of was once I hadn't shaved, and I realized as I was leaving the house, like, oh boy, I forgot to shave. How do I deal with this? Well, I guess I'll just wear a scarf around my neck to hide my horrible neck beard until I can get it shaved, like, outside. But even then, like, Oh, Rokudo no Onatachi, also known as the best harem manga, does have a sensei character. First of all, Rokudo no Hanatachi. Let's... Kudo no Hanatachi. I don't think I've seen this one before. Or Onatachi, sorry. Where'd I get Hana from? Oh, is it ongoing? Like, just based on the art style, I thought like maybe it's like a more classic series. But okay. Let's add this to my list of series I want to do in the future. Let's just quietly favorite that. Where was I? Oh no! You've had, homie, like, your streak of, like, recommending things and me actually liking them has been very, very hot. Like, I think the first one was Mary Grave, but from then on, it's been real good, like, surprisingly good. You have great taste in manga. Anyways. Well, they're going all in. Jesus Christ. There's a hot water bottle under her blanket as well as all of this. Oh boy, she might die. Like, that might actually be how this ends. She might get heat stroke and, like, collapse. Now, for sure, there's no way she's still cold. Where did she get these things? Like, it's also... that's the thing, I don't know if it's supposed to be winter or not. I assume not, though. But, like, what? How? How is this possible? How's this? The heat packs I want at a store giveaway! God damn, this escalation is absolutely amazing. But I feel like she's gotta pass out now, right? So basically, in this dialogue, it's too hot for her, and here, for me too, the word too is used to mean... so on the nose. So extremely on the nose. Maybe just a little. See? That's so see-through too. Like, it doesn't even look like it's supposed to be a like a white outfit. That's straight up just like plastic wrap now. It's so see-through. Okay, take off your clothes. Undress and get into my bed quick. Is someone gonna walk in? Because this feels extremely weird. Oh boy, I know you might not want to, but please listen to me. Okay, again, like, it is as forced as it usually is, but I see the logic here. I understand it. It makes sense. And also, like, he's suffering from the extreme heat as well, so this all makes total sense to me. I mean, maybe now, actually. At the very start, I don't think he would have been disgusted. Most people, like, if you're a bit sweaty and you take off your coat and, you know, like, you're a little see-through, that's fine. I don't think most people would really notice that at all. But now that she's been sweltering under this for so long, she might genuinely stink. That's a real possibility. Okay, she's going for it. Oh no! Why? Boy, oh boy, oh boy. Of all the timing. I mean, are you finally marrying her brother? Jesus Christ. Oh boy, oh boy. I mean, that is the We Never Learn experience. It's this moment, the moment of, oh boy, I sure don't know how to explain this, but I guess I'll roll with it. This happened, sure, let's live with it. It does feel weird though that she put her coat back on though. Like, she finally just took it off. She finally stopped dying for brief moments. And then, I guess for the sake of explaining this, she had to put it back on. But okay, well, at the very least, I'm glad she doesn't have to walk home in her ultra sweaty blouse. Also, yeah, wait a minute. It took me a moment. You can't just slip that in. Like, thanks for letting me shower and letting me fresh clothes. Like, that's completely normal. But it's not even that, it's not even that she slipped that in near the end. She started off by saying, these clothes smell like you. Also, thank you for lending them to me. Jesus Christ, Erica. But yeah, no matter what happens, I'll never dislike you for it. That's common sense. Come on. Oh boy, I thought we were done with her overheating, but that's the steamiest she's been all chapter. Okay, well then. That was We Never Learn. It was a spicy, sweaty, hot time. I don't know how Taishi comes up with these concepts, but I am extremely glad that he does. Like, We Never Learn legitimately manages to keep on being spicy. It manages to continue being hot and fresh and different all the time while still feeling very much like comfort food. Like, I can always pick up We Never Learn and expect that as long as it's not like in the middle of an arc, that it's going to be a good time. Even though the series is called We Never Learn, it's not that they don't learn from their mistakes. I mean, they do the same things over and over again. But I think, I mean, that's part of a series that is consistent. Like, in the same way that I'd say the Promised Neverland or the Last Saiyuki have a level of consistency to them. The characters do learn, they do change, but they do have still, like, they have parts of them that are extremely consistent. The difference is that in We Never Learn, they don't do, like, they have overarching character arcs. Like, they do have arcs where the characters do fundamentally change a bit, but there is that core thing of you read the series because you like this character the way they are. There is this core thing about them. How would I put it? In the same way that I once had that whole talk about how there are Luffy's that are main characters and there are Naruto's that are main characters. I feel like We Never Learn is a series that is exciting because the cast is a cast of Luffy's. Like, the way they're introduced is what you like about them. They have this core thing that you like, and what you want to change about them are, like, some of their flaws. And while some of their flaws do go away with time, they still have these, like, these inherent problems, this inherent stubbornness, this inherent, like, strangeness that makes them attractive or that makes them interesting. You're always able to figure out, like, all right, so I have a vague idea of how this person would act in this given scenario, but let's see how it goes. Let's see if they're even more over the top than I suspect. Zaku, you don't understand the subtle intricacies of it. It really, like, it is legitimately the same as, say, like, reading Kaiji, for instance, and going, all right, well, every chapter of Kaiji is fundamentally the same. Like, the slow pace and the, like, deliberation over very similar things over and over again is a part of what makes it interesting. It's the fact that it is... I feel like this analogy is getting away from me, but it is that same feeling of, I enjoy this thing about the series. I want the series to do that thing. And it manages to do that thing in a bunch of different ways. Like, I don't see how it's any different from, for instance, a fighting series, where you know how the characters fight, but the excitement comes from seeing them fight, you know, in different ways. It comes from the different scenarios, or from the different places they are in life at the moment. And, like, how they've changed since then. Even if it's just a little bit, they have changed. They have, but, like, I feel like now I'm just talking about, like, why I would read any series. So I'm gonna stop there. Basically, We Never Learn has an appeal that I like, and I like it because it does the thing I like. And no, I don't want to get this, like, I want to continue on. I want to move on to Chainsaw Man, but I do need to finish this thought. Like, Chainsaw Man, for instance, has a few core things that I really enjoy. I like the fact that Denji is an underdog. I like that the series has, like, super over-the-top violence. I like that the characters have this, like, that they each have a thing they do, but the way they do it is always exciting. Like, Power is an interesting character, but it's not just that. It's not just that she's mean. It's that she's mean in a bunch of different ways. She has this core character trait, and I'm always excited to see what she'll do next. In the same way, I get that from We Never Learn. Like, all the girls and Yuiga have a core character trait of, I know that, like, Urika's very stubborn and she's very sporty and athletic, so whatever she's going to do it's going to involve her body, or it's going to involve, like, something involving athletics, maybe. Or either that or English, because that's the thing she wants to get better at. Yuiga's super kind, and so in this chapter we got to see the interaction of her refusing to admit that she's hot and sweaty. And Yuiga, like, not understanding that she was lying, and therefore, like, those two character traits piling on one another, and the absurdity of that situation. Anyways, let's move on. I will try to explain this further in the future. Also, Damage, you are just in time. You just got past my weekly explanation of why I like We Never Learn. We are jumping right into Chainsaw Man, Chapter 23. Okay, what is this gunfire? Okay, so there's the obvious thing of, gunfire. Miss Makima just got shot in the head last chapter. That was sure some gunfire. But the fact that the word gun was used here, like, the fact that it's guns immediately brings to mind the Gun Devil. That might not be the case, like, but that automatically comes to mind. That's the first thing that I think of. The aesthetic of this is, by the way, just super cool. Got skull, got the chainsaw, got Chainsaw Man in front of the chainsaws. It feels very pulpy. It feels like a super indie action movie that came out in the 70s, and this is the poster for it. And I'm completely fine with that. Yeah. Like, it's so gripping. And also, I want to see how this looks in Weekly Shonen Jump, because I legitimately think this might look better in the magazine than it does digitally. Because digitally it pops really nicely, but in the magazine, like I own 1 or 2 Weekly Shonen Jumps. I don't want to grab them right now, but I do. Jump is printed on this really shitty paper, and I think that might actually help with this in a weird way. Like, the combination of the vibrant ink being used and the shitty paper, I think it would give it this very grindhouse feel. It would feel like an 80s action movie poster, but not a new one. It would feel like one that you've had laying around for a long time. Like, that combined with the the splatter effect here, it gives off this very this aged, edgy, grindy vibe that I love. This is so nice. I love it so much. Okay, so we're doing silent for a bit. I wonder if we're going to get the big reveal of, hey, Miss Makima got shot, and everyone's silent responses to it then. But right now, it seems like we're just doing some general work. Oh boy. I mean, it just struck me that this is Orion Company on their own. Is this lady gonna pull out a gun and shoot them? Is that what we're doing? Yes, it's what we're doing. Oh boy. God damn! OBS! Ah! For what purpose? For what purpose? I mean, the fact that it's all guns has to be important. I mean, obviously guns are dangerous, but also they're in Japan. So is there some sort of force, if not the Gun Devil, then just some other organization that wants to kill demon hunters right now? Or devil hunters? 'Tis the sound of taiko drums. Is that what taiko drums sound like? I feel like there's a lot more bass to them than this. Okay. I mean, I assume this man's gonna shoot them then? If you only eat the same flavors as your childhood, apparently your palate will be unrefined as an adult. Okay. The fact that we've had such a dearth of dialogue here, and then we're most of the dialogue so far in this chapter has been this guy who no one understands. It feels so strange. He'd buy anything I wanted with the drug money. He was a true Tokyoite and a good man who everybody loved. Hmm? What? What? The Gun Devil says it wants your heart. So first of all, it is the Gun Devil. Second of all, was his grandfather Pochita, maybe? Is that what we're going for? What is going on? Who was this man? Also, headshot, but not as much of a headshot as Miss Makima. Miss Makima was straight up, gun right through the temple, another bullet right through the back of the head. This is, it's more of a glancing shot. Still bad, but maybe more survivable? He's from Chapter 1. Wait, what? What's this man from Chapter 1? I remember Denji doing some shit in Chapter 1. Let's see. Oh, this guy. Okay, never mind. I get it. I forgot this character design completely. Right, okay. So that's where we're bringing up the Yakuza too. Okay. That makes sense. I see. Jesus Christ, guns are scary. Guns are pretty scary. I love this perspective shot too, because it's from a first-person point of view, and it lets us see the movement speed of each of these characters. The two humans here, not that great, whereas Power manages to be very, very fast. You literally cannot see her from this moment to this one. She basically just, teleports in front of you. I also do appreciate the general power scale so far of Chainsaw Man, in the sense that, a lot of series that have ordinary human beings will still give them a power boost for the sake of making them cool or making them capable of doing cool things. But this feels like, an actual fight where two people are unarmed, one person has a gun. It's very, it's very one-sided in favor of the person who has the gun. Guns are scary. So what is he doing, though? Is it as simple as just pushing this man right out of the building? I guess so. I guess that's it. Oh boy. So she was shot. You've put something monstrous in my mouth. It's not human or devil. Okay. Denji is very clearly not in his mouth. We see the shot here implying that yes, like, the Fox Devil is still outside in this moment, so this line is not referring to Denji. It's referring to this guy, I suppose. Oh boy. First of all, cool design. Very cool design. Second of all, I guess that's Rip Fox Devil. I mean, is it that simple? Is Fox Devil dead? I mean, you can kill a devil pretty easily, so is that it? Does Aki just not have a devil he's contracted to anymore? Thirdly, goddamn this design. I mean, I assume this is some sort of knife devil? I'd like to say katana devil, but like this is clearly not a katana, so maybe closer to just knife devil. Or knife fiend, I suppose. Like clearly he's meant to be human, so fiends. Though, if he's not human or devil, then it seems like he's not even a fiend then. He must be something more closely resembling Denji then, right? Hey homie, you missed a lot. You missed the entire chapter. Chainsaw Man moves very, very quickly. I would say Knife Devil just because like I feel like a Knife Devil would actually be stronger than a Saber Devil or a Sword Devil. Like this feels more like a knife here. It feels more like a what do you call those? A machete? And it seems like the more general the power, the more powerful you are. But yeah, I do think he is whatever Denji is. Like this line is so extremely specific, and we've seen different people say like there is a difference between a fiend and whatever Denji is. So the big question then is, what the hell is this? Also, what is this specifically? Like, he burst out of the Fox Devil's head, but this doesn't look like brain matter. It might be, actually. It looks more like intestines, but I guess it could be brain matter. The Imperial style half makes you think saber. I could see that. Like, it looks very much like a early 1920s Japanese outfits. Like, when I saw the hats, I guess the hat does scream, like, military. The first thing that jumped to mind to me was actually just, like, prep student from the 1920s. But military makes more sense. And, like, we've got the overcoats. It is a good design. Like, I'm very into this. I feel like this also just feels like a good spiritual rival to Chainsaw Man. Because, you know, sabers, swords, blades, whatever these are, like, they're weaker than chainsaws, but at the same time, a chainsaw is a much more finicky instrument, and especially, like, it draws way more blood than this does. Like, once the blades come out, that's it. Like, they're only releasing a set amount of blood from the body. Whereas when Denji's chainsaws activate, the chainsaws are, like, ripping into his flesh repeatedly. They are spraying blood. Like, there's more blood loss there. He's more powerful, but he also can hold the form for less time, I assume. And that's true. That's true, homie. Like, it's the sword. We didn't get to see what the sword does, but it seems like this is an important enough time to use the sword. I mean, assuming that the Fox Devil is dead, that also means that either Aki's gonna have to find another devil to contract with, or something else. Like, I've been running under the assumption that yes, every devil is one thing, like there is one Fox Devil, that's why Fox Devil is so powerful. Does that mean that if Fox Devil dies, that another one will respawn? If so, if another Fox Devil respawns, does it immediately gain the same level of power? Like, let's think about this. The Gun Devil. The Gun Devil is scary because guns are scary. If the Gun Devil dies, what happens? Like, guns don't stop being scary, right? So that amount of fear and anxiety around guns will continue to exist. Does that just immediately coalesce into a new Gun Devil, or does something else happen? Like, because it would feel kind of off-brand for Aki to not be contracted to the Fox Devil. Like, now that we've seen him use it, he feels very much like someone who would be contracted to a fox. I don't know, like, it just feels so generically Japanese, quote-unquote, and that's kind of Aki's whole thing. It's like, he's generically Japanese. Not in a bad way. That's just his aesthetic. So, I feel like at the very least we're going to use it to explore like what happens when a devil dies. Like, Eternity Devil is dead. Is Eternity gone as a concept? Or do we just have another Eternity Devil out there somewhere? I could see that. Like, maybe if you kill the Gun Devil, then there will still be a Gun Devil, but it won't be as explosively powerful. Alternatively, like, the big question is, like, why did the Gun Devil do what it did? Like, it had this short burst of flying everywhere, doing a ton of damage. maybe that is it. Like, maybe the Gun Devil just died in the process of doing it. Like, that was its sudden birth into the world, did a bunch of damage, it destroyed so much of itself, and now it's been reforming ever since. Maybe, perhaps. Anyways, powerful chapter of Chainsaw Man. Maybe one of my favorite chapters overall. Like, the sheer contrast between, like, like, I'm a big sucker for any scene that does, like, super quiet stuff a lot. This is just aesthetically very pleasing to me. The art style also very good. The ambiguity here of what's going on, very good. The fact that these people are all, presumably contracted by the Gun Devil, which means that the Gun Devil isn't just a wild beast, like, it has things going on. I could see that. Like, we've also seen the Fox Devil linger for a long time, implying that, like, even though we know he has multiple contracts, it does seem like you can just summon the Fox Devil, and it doesn't seem like he's in any danger of just, like, noping out because someone else also summoned him. Also, homie, I'll bite. Because I live in Canada, we get, like, maybe 1/4 of all the KFC things that ever come out, so I have no idea what a Texas Grander is. Please tell me about that. Damage, I don't really, honestly, I don't like the concept of it, though. Like, it makes sense to me, but I feel like it's so impersonal. Like, I really like the aesthetic of if a devil shows up, like the Mushroom Devil, like, that is the Mushroom Devil. There's no other Mushroom Devil. There aren't, like, multiple parts to it. That's the whole thing. That doesn't necessarily mean that's correct, but personally, in terms of theories, I'd like to go with the idea of each devil is its own thing, and if you kill it, I suppose it has to just lose power for a bit. Like, there's a set amount of fear that exists, and devils just, like, slowly, like, accumulate it. Like, presumably, Power is the Blood Devil, but she doesn't have, like, the maximum amount of fear that everyone has in regards to blood. I think that actually makes a lot of sense. Also, it's just, like, a scaling mechanic. Like, why do some devils become a threat? It's not that they just decide to start fighting. It's because, like, it took time for them to build up that amount of fear. It's not necessarily that they have to create that amount of fear. It's just, like, they had to pull in the universe's general fear of their concept for a while. Or something, maybe, perhaps. But, I mean, you're not wrong. I can see your point there. It's just, it's not something that's really gripping me. Overall, extremely dank chapter. I'm very glad I did this one live because I would not have remembered this guy was from chapter 1 in the slightest. Overall, was that, I don't think it was as fun as We Never Learned to me. Like, I did have more fun with We Never Learned, but this was explosively good. And, like, in terms of sheer enjoyment, especially, I have to factor in the cover page, actually. Like, it feels weird to say that a color page is the breaking point, but it really is. Like, the color page isn't a separate thing. It is a part of the chapter, and I really liked it. I thought it was a fantastic color page. I will come back to this in a bit. Right now, because I have the high of the chapter, I feel like Chainsaw Man might be a bit better than We Never Learned, but that was a good We Never Learned chapter. I think I'll keep it there for now, and we'll come back to it. We'll see how it shakes out. But for now, that was Chainsaw Man. Next is One Piece, chapter 943, Smile. Okay, big important chapter name. I had a talk, did we put out the One Piece segment for the weekly manga discussion podcast? We had a talk about this. Was that even on the podcast, or was that just a conversation I had with Donuts? Oh boy, I'm pretty mixed up. But anyways, my running theory, as I said last time, is that the Smiles are literally mutating people. Wait, second chapter in a row named Smile. Was the last chapter also called Smile? Was it? Oh, second chapter in the series. Okay, because you said row, that really freaked me out for a moment. I mean, I'm not going to check it right now because potential spoilers, but I'm wondering now, like, is it written the same way twice? Or is it, like, written slightly differently? It doesn't really matter per se. It's just, it's interesting that it would be the same concept twice. What is this request? Like, I've never considered Robin to be the knitting type in general, so this feels very out of left field. Anyways, as I was saying at the very start of this talk, oh, wait a minute. Oops. Okay, sorry. I'm using the wrong account for this. It just struck me that when I'm, like, shouting out the chapter titles, they're not, like, lighting up properly, and that's because I'm on the wrong accounts. But anyways, as I was just saying, what was I just saying? Oh, I'm pretty sure that all the people of God, the town that smiles all the time, the tile that Iyasu was from, or Yasue. I assume that it's because of like runoff from the Smile production. I'm bringing this up because Donut had the exact opposite interpretation. He thought it was like more of a societal thing, and I don't think that's incorrect. Like as of right now, like it always stood out to me as being very forced, being like almost like, especially with Last Chapter, it felt like legitimately like not natural. It felt artificial. It felt like these people were all like grieving, but they couldn't not smile. They couldn't not laugh. So that's my going theory, but I don't want to discount the theory that maybe it's not artificial. Maybe it is just like it's a product of their socialization, which is in itself like an artificial thing. It's just artificial in a different way. Whereas I feel like this is directly tied to the Smile Free production. So, man, that's a power move. That's an extreme power move. Also, is that Dogstorm? I mean, that's certainly a dog person. Yes. What is this plan? This take all of my money plan. That does make sense, though. Like, it'll pay off in the long run. One day he will be Shogun of Wano. Those who serve and support him must be the greatest samurai of the land. Not only must he protect your liege, he will do the same for the capital and eventually all of Wano. Oh yeah, I also forgot to mention, sure hope Yasue's dead. I don't mean that in a way of like I hate him. I mean that in the way of I really hope Oda doesn't take this one back, because my heart is like it's not being torn out by this. I wasn't that attached to him, but this is an effective death. It's a powerful death. I don't want it to be like misused. I want him to really be dead. And yeah, they do look like the Nine Red Scabbards. Can I see which one of these is Kinemon? Is that Kinemon? Yes. Okay. Yeah, round up the people of Ebisu and drive them out. I guess in general, like, I'm just like I'm mentally picturing this, not in terms of like the anime art style, because when I think of the anime, all I think of is like slideshows. But like if this were properly animated and we had like really good sound design for it, it would be so creepy. Like the mix of screaming and crying and genuine laughter, like not even evil laughter, but like big, like genuine, right from the guts belly laughing. Like that feels like such a horrible combination. He plunges the people into misery and leaves them unable to mourn their misfortune. If this is not hell, then what is? Tell me, Zorojuro. Please, please, please. I really hope. I mean, the chapter's called Smile. We have to get elaboration on that. I will be so mad if we end it with the secret of the smiles is, or the reason these people are laughing is to be continued. That's a really cool line. Yeah, laugh him into the afterlife. This is Wano, bright, cheerful Wano. You might mistake it from paradise. Like this image of him killing someone, killing a person he deems to be a problem, and then all of his citizens laughing as a result. This false cheer. Oh, it's so sickly. It bothers me. I feel so weird. Oh. Even Queen. I mean, obviously Queen's saying it in like a fun tone. He thinks it's funny, but god damn, it is legitimately so cruel. So, it is the effect of the smile fruits. You'll find some of those folks who cannot do anything but laugh here too. But he's not even like... My theory was that it was the runoff going into the water, but he says it's like the effect of the smile fruits. I mean, that could still be it, but it feels different. Like, because the story's already talked a lot about pollution in general, I feel like if my theory was correct, he would have just said, it's the effect of the pollution. So it's got to be a bit different, but I don't quite understand how. Did we really need this cut? I'm glad we got to see Orochi for one panel here. Nice input, Orochi. I mean, it is legitimately good input, though. Like, it does show that Orochi is legitimately, like, not freaked out by it, but he acknowledges that even for him, this is pretty fucked up. I didn't mean Kaido. Great cut over to Orochi talking in the third person. Oh boy, okay, sorry. Okay, it feels like we're doing it. We're actually getting an explanation. Please, please, please. Smiles that the people of Ebisu wear are actually masks. Masks that they can never remove for the rest of their lives. So when one eats the fruit, it invites the sea's hatred, leaving you unable to swim. Right. Okay. I mean, this all makes sense so far. The success rate of this Okay, so it's only 10%. If 10 people eat the fruit, only one of them will actually gain its power. The other 9 lose out and receive only the downsides. Okay. The side effect of the imperfect chemical mixture wipes out the ability to express sorrow or anger. So the only thing you can do anymore is laugh. Oh my god. Okay. Holy shit. Holy shit. This explains so much. Like, first of all, in a meta sense, it explains why we never, like, had a Big Mom style thing of like, hey, here's all the names, even though we've been using the names for a while. But now the names make so much sense. So the ones who are waiting to eat a devil fruit are the waiters. The ones who received the gift of the fruits are the gifters, and the ones that fucked up but are just constantly laughing are the pleasures. Oh my god, that makes so much sense. It all ties together so well. After seeing the particular misfortune of those who are unlucky, the masterminds chose to name the concoction in mockery of their condition, thus the smile fruits. That ties together so well. That can't mean that Okabura Town is full of people who were former waiters, though. Like, there's no way. Like, most of them are just random normal people. Orochi found a perverse interest in the failed smile fruits that had already been bitten. Oh. Okay. I mean, that is true. Like, to get the power of a devil fruit, you only have to bite it once. And in fact, you most certainly will only bite it once most of the time because they taste awful. But, like, normal devil fruits don't have side effects, so you would never do something like this. Like, you would just throw away the fruit or destroy it or whatever. Yeah, because they eat the leftovers from the capital. So he just mixed them in, I guess. And that makes sense. Like, even if they realized, like, oh, these are bad, let's not eat them, at the same time, like, how can you say that? If that's all you have to eat are, leftover smile fruits, you're gonna eat them. God damn, that is extremely dystopian. And that's how Ebony Town came to be a place where every last person is bright and cheerful. So, it's kind of what I expected, but it's so much worse. It is legitimately so much worse while also tying together so well. Like, this is Oda. This is good One Piece. Oh boy, I'm starting to We Never Learn in here. Let's quickly open up a window. It really is. Like, it's a combination of sadism and this desire to... It's the fact that he hates them so much that he doesn't even want to let them have the desire to be sad, to be mournful, to be oppressed even. He just wants a happy, joyful not joyful capital, just a capital full of laughter, something that appears joyful. He doesn't want to have a bunch of sad wretches around, but he also doesn't want to uplift their condition. So he's making them artificially happy. Yeah, the Chocolata of One Piece is a good comparison to make. I mean, Wano's already had quite a bit of tragedy in it, but this is perfect. Like, this is some high octane, high proof, top tier tragedy. Boy, oh boy. And Orochi is there. He'll recognize her. And there's nothing she can do for him. Oh boy. This is also just a powerful line to come from Robin. Wait, no, that's not Robin. Never mind. God. Oda. I was gonna say it would have been powerful coming from Robin because she had that same thing in her past. The moment of you can't run to your family member even though you desperately want to. But never mind. It took me a moment to realize which female character this was. Yeah, that's not what you think. I feel like Zoro's gonna jump in. There's no way he would let her die here. Oh, okay, we're doing it. We finally have Zoro and Sanji together. At last. It's been a long time. But we're finally getting the crew back together. Together in the sense that they are doing stuff together. It's been a while. First time in 220 chapters. 5 years. That... I mean, I know you guys are correct. I'm sure that people have done the calculations and whatnot already, so... But my gosh, that is absurd. That is bonkers. How in the world have we not had Zoro and Sanji together for 5 years? Jeez. Well, amazing chapter. Genuinely amazing chapter. This is what I love about One Piece. Takes a while to build up to it sometimes, but my oh my. I mean, very easily, no doubt about it. Top thing I've read so far. I wouldn't even. I guess this is like, bad payoff. It's villainous payoff. It's tragic payoff. We've built up to this for so long. And even then, like the water supply thing, the way I was thinking of it was it's a negative side effect. It's something that maybe Orochi was okay with, but maybe even he was doing it intentionally. But the fact that it was in their food makes it so much worse. Because if it's in the water supply, it's one of those things of like, well, it's not being targeted. It's something where you just got to deal with it. It's in the water. Maybe there's some level of him not knowing, but the fact that he was putting out the food, that it was like the fact that it was also like partially eaten devil fruits, so they don't even have the potential chance to become to gain devil fruit powers. It's a pure complete downside. It's that sheer malice, that sheer desire to do something negative to the people of his country that really, really gets me. Honestly, I could see that. Like, we have a lot more to do. We have Kaido's entire crew. So there's no reason why they couldn't take out Orochi here. Like, especially because I doubt Orochi is going to be a powerful fighter. I think he's going to have like a lot of raw power just by virtue of being a Hydra or being an Orochi. But I think we could have this big moment of Orochi transforms, it scares everyone, he shows off like how powerful he is, like how much raw power he has, and then Zoro and Sanji just take him down because they're leagues above him. I think that'd be really, really satisfying. Either that, or I'd like them to be in a fight, and then Orochi gets away. But like it's like I think just for the sake of moving the plot along, it would feel weird to have Kaido come in right now. It makes sense to keep Orochi around as a negative power, as as the figurehead of this is who we want to take down. This is where we're going to rally against. Like we are going to rally against the Shogun, and then after that, like. Even then, I think they could like. It feels more disjointed if they take out Orochi now. But I do think like this is going to be the spark of rebellion. This is going to be the moment that the history books are going to write down as this was when everything came crashing down. Okay, well, that was One Piece. Good chapter. Very, very good chapter. It feels like things are really about to kick off. I don't quite know where everything's going to go from here, but I'm excited to see how it plays out. Gosh, it's been a while since we've had something this like viscerally emotional. Boy, oh boy. Okay, well, I mean, that's One Piece. By the way, can you guys like go backwards while I'm streaming? I tried to set that up. That should have been a thing all the time, but I got a report from someone saying that they couldn't do it, so I rechecked my settings. So presumably, like, while I'm streaming, you can go back, you can watch things that I've already done already. Okay, good. Thank you for letting me know. I also, I do take these down after a while, but I do keep them unlisted. So if for some reason, if you want to just start at the very beginning while I'm streaming, you can do it. And then even when I stop streaming, theoretically, it should keep on going, unless my internet connection dies. But now that I've said it, don't want to curse it, let's move right along to The Promised Neverland. The Promised Neverland, Chapter 135, The Search. Maybe did that a little too early. Actually, Zaku, try it. I'm pretty sure you can do it at double speed. I know I personally have done that before for one of Donut's streams, where like I wanted to see what he was just doing, but I also wanted to catch up. So I hit double speed, it zoomed up, and then once I caught up to normal time, it just automatically switched over to the proper live stream at normal speed. But anyways, we're doing The Promised Neverland. We're seeing Sanju and Mujika. The search is pretty obvious. It's the search for Sanju and Mujika. What's there to say about this? I feel this is pretty obvious. They're being sent to go find Sanju and Mujika. It's not a good thing. The big question then, I suppose, is like, will Dawn and Gilded protect Sanju and Mujika? Like, are they smart enough to see 3 steps ahead and figure out, like, all right, Norman's clearly not doing this for a good reason. Let's save her. I mean, we are just kind of going through the motions, so not a whole lot to say about this. It is nice that we're getting the two of them, like, together as a unit doing something again. It's been a while. It's been a hot minute. What is his methodology, though? Because clearly they didn't look for her before. Like, they knew of her, and I guess they didn't know she was alive, so why would they look? Never mind. That makes sense. That actually, like, let me try to visualize that. Yeah. Like, assuming it's the same type of black, like, if it fades right into it, I could see that being super, super cool. I do like Manga Plus, by the way. Like, I prefer the Shonen Jump Reader just because I like reading things in 2-page spreads like this. But I do read stuff on Manga Plus sometimes. Like if I'm skimming through things, or for all the exclusive series, obviously I can only read them there. Sorry, I went forward a bit. I didn't look at anything, but okay. It's still gonna be tricky though. Like I could see this being an ongoing arc of just they can't find Sonjun Mujika. Because clearly, like, since they met kids, I doubt they would have stayed anywhere near Gracefield for a while. But if it is pretty narrowed down, then I guess maybe maybe it's not as expansive as I'm thinking. Yeah, how would someone being pursued hide? I can understand that because we're also pursued. So this is a very obvious thing that I completely skimmed over. Like I know in tag in Japan, it's like Onigoko. Like the person who is it is the Oni, the demon. It never fully occurred to me until very recently, until someone pointed it out on Donut's Discord, that like the reason why the demons are called demons is because of the tag metaphor. It's because like when they started off, when Norman was talking about them at the very start, like he was thinking of it in terms of tag. Like it was like that's the metaphor that this all came down. Like not in how do I put this? That's why the Gracefield kids call them demons. That's what I meant. Not that like that's the official reason in universe, but that's why the Gracefield kids do it. It took me a while. I'm not going to. I tried to at the very start of this, but like I started off by saying, I'm not going to. You know what? Never mind. Let's do this. I read a bit. I read like 20 pages of it, and I could not get into it. Like I liked the fire in it. I liked the idea of it. The problem is that it just doesn't get me hot-blooded. Like it's a series that clearly has a very like a hot-blooded character, and you're supposed to be able to empathize with them, but I can't get hot-blooded for sports for the most parts. Like with Robot Laserbeam even, at the very start I didn't. It took a long time before like Robot was able to make me like super invested in it. There is? Oh boy, okay. I might skim through it later though. But like I might include that reaction too, but like it's 20 pages. It's not great. I probably won't even timestamp it. I'll just keep it as like the start of the video. So yeah, pretty obvious, pretty extremely obvious that Norman. But like that's not the point of the scene. The point isn't the twist of Norman wants to kill Sonju Mujika. It's obviously Dawn and Gilda are smart enough to notice that. So we've got the multiple layers now. What Shinosuke quote would be in a rugby manga? Like we've got now my brain's in top gear. What else does Shinosuke say? I like him a lot as a character, but I'm drawing a blank now. Okay, that gag with Hayato was really good. So there's one more person. Okay, we're getting another newbie. Or not newbie, but a character we haven't seen before. What? Okay, like her design. Very cool, very distinctive design. She's got sort of a oh god, what is his name? Not Leroy. The male version of Laura from Turn A Gundam. Lauren, that's it, Lauren. She has that vibe to her with like the slightly tan skin and the white hair. I assume white hair. That's true. Oh boy, I didn't consider that. That they would have never seen dogs outside of like picture books and stuff before. How did they find dogs though? Like these aren't even like demon dogs. They look like they're supposed to be like either dogs or wolves, but like normal ones. Okay, and she's not even from Lambda. How in the world did they get her then? Okay. She was kept by a demon. So like completely separate from the the farms and stuff. Why would a demon want to keep one human girl and I mean, even the dogs make sense, like, hunting animals maybe. But then why was the demon keeping her? Oh my god, that shot looks so good. Like, I love how they keep framing Norman as like to the people he saved, to the people he's led, he is this like deity almost. He feels like he feels like Jesus. They do it really, really well. Oh yeah, Double Taisei. Sorry, I also kind of just dropped Double Taisei. Like, I'll read it off stream again. Just because, like, it really did not grip me at all with the first chapter. I'll give the second chapter a look, and if I have anything to say about it, I'll talk about it on Donut's Discord, but we'll see. I'm trying to be more selective. Like, I don't want to read a bunch of series that I don't really like. Whereas right now with Jump, currently every series I'm reading is a series I'm genuinely interested in. It makes me feel good. Did she say Gargablarg? No. Like, Gargablarg looks like... Oh boy, I don't think I have an actual way to draw it out. But, yeah, like, it's very distinctive. Though, I mean, I guess... if you separate the pieces of Gargablarg and... maybe? I don't think so. Though, to be fair, like, usually when I see Gargablarg, it's very obvious because it's the one word being used and because it's, like, it's always the same font each time. The upper left bubble. Upper left. Okay. This one, right? I know the Promised Neverland wiki calls him Demon Boss, which is weird. Also, I just realized I'm putting that off screen, right? You can't see that at all. Does that work? Can you guys, like, compare those? Yeah, I'm not seeing it in the slightest. This video is actually, is Waluigi and Peach the same person, which I have not started. I've seen 1 second of it. I'm very curious, though. I am extremely curious about this. Anyways, going back to the Promised Neverland, I keep on forgetting. Every time I zoom in, it's, like, unlike the previous reader, this one's a little more finicky when it comes to, like, can I zoom out once I've zoomed in? Oh, okay, so, yeah. I mean, kind of already figured that out, but it is the demon language. She can't speak English, or, she can't speak the language that all the kids are speaking. We don't know what language that is. I guess it is English, actually. Never mind. I forgot. They have been writing things out. Like we saw, poachers and whatnot. So I guess it is canonically English. I do like this dynamic, though. Like, you've got Hayato, you've got this girl, and then I assume everyone else there, though, is going to be kind of vaguely loyal to, the Goldie Pond kids, no. It really would just be the Gracefield kids who would be more loyal, who remember Sonju and Mujika and who would want to protect her. Everyone else is more of a, like, they're more of a wild card. And this girl especially, like, they can't communicate with her. And even if they can, Norman's already told her what to do. So she wouldn't be swayed. Yeah. For Mujika and Sonju, for Emma and Ray, and finally, for Norman's sake. Okay, well then. Just, so, Ray has gotten down from how super old he was before, but now Emma's a baby. I don't have anything to say about this. I mean, apart from, clearly there is meant to be age modulation going on now. But whether they're actually experiencing that amount of time, I mean, the time thing was mostly when we saw Ray being super old. But there's no way that Emma could experience being younger, so, like, it has to be a trick, or it has to be some sort of, like, temporary thing. They're not really living out an extremely long amount of time. I'm not totally sure what this does, though. Like, I think it's gotta just be that they have to carry out the pattern that they saw before, the Tenry in every direction thing. They need to do that. Because apart from that, I don't see, like, a riddle here or any clues, any ways to get out. And I don't really see a purpose to it, apart from just, you were given the instructions, you just need to fulfill them. Oh, that's actually a clever plan. I don't think so because of this girl. Like, because she doesn't speak English, like, because she only speaks the demon language, I feel like, first of all, I guess there's a big question of how in the world did Norman communicate with her if she has secret instructions? My big theory is that Zazie knows English, like, knows the language that everyone's speaking, but also Zazie's a demon. In which case, we could have had a situation where Norman talked to Zazie, Zazie talked to her. We still haven't seen Ancient Emma yet, which I do want to see. Like, if we're going to do this, I want to see all the forms. Actually, wait a minute. I don't remember the actual saying, but when we say, like, Tenri in each direction, could that be metaphorical? Like, could it be going, like, through time? I guess that only works for, like, west and east or north and south. But if you're using all those directions, then the question is, like, Or actually, maybe, what if, like, north and south is, like, Emma or Ray, like, it's one of them, and then east and west is the others. So, like, it's not a literal square, but it's, how do I put this? It's going back and forth. It's like, Emma, you have to become super young and then super old. Ray, you have to become super old and then super young. Maybe? That feels like a bit of a stretch, because then they also have up and down, actually. I don't know what up and down would be if you have two people. Boy, oh boy. Homie, I will check that out later, but we're sticking with this. We've only got 2 more things to do. I keep on clicking on My Hero Academia, so I'm in deep, deep danger of accidentally just reading the entire chapter somehow through a combination of random clicks on my keyboard. Let's not do that. Let's do this properly. Next is Dr. Stone, chapter 106, The Secret of Petrification. Well, I mean, is the series brave enough to just toss that out right now? Doubt it. I think we're going to see either, like, people being petrified, like, we're going to see that village, that tiny little village being petrified, but I don't think we're going to get, like, answers. It's just going to be, like, it'll be more information. It'll be, like, this is how it's done. Whether it's, like, you know, a weapon they wheel around, or if it's something handheld, or if it's, like, a goo. We'll see. Oh, I know the secret behind the petrification beam. Okay. Okay. Don't leave the island. Don't create anything new. If you break those rules, the master will turn you to stone with an inherited sorcery. So, don't leave the island. Don't create anything new. So, this is a stagnant society. Like, not necessarily on the same level as old Ishigami Village. Like, they might be more advanced, but they can't make anything new. They can't discover anything new. And that makes sense. Like, the master would be dethroned if they created, like, you know, better weapons or something that could stop the petrification if they researched into it. Like, of course he wouldn't want that. It's them, the top 2. This person, I mean, I guess there's 3 people here, but I guess this guy is not part of the top 2. We can see what he looks like, even though he's so extremely obscured anyways. Okay, so those are the 2 strongest warriors, Mozu and Kirisame. What is going on with Kirisame? I mean, it's a weird aesthetic. It's a really weird aesthetic. Also because only one of these is colored in. Like, I don't know what these are specifically. They look like fruits, but they might also just be like, what are they? Like, my immediate assumption would be like there's some sort of shell or some sort of like maybe like a coconut husk that's been cleaned out. Well, not a coconut husk, but you know, like some sort of fruit or nut or something of the sorts. But they're so perfectly white. It feels weird. Okay, well, the big question is, if when Donut looks at this, is he going to say that this woman has a ton of boobs, or is he going to say that this is like a part of her outfits? It's the big question. Actually, I don't think it's wrong though. I think this is closer to what what is his name? Risui has. Where like he's wearing a like part of a suit of armor on him. Because if you look at this looks like a gauntlet right now. So I mean, it could be actual stone. I just don't think so. They do have these like carved in things on them, which is interesting. Like that's the fact that it's so dark looking makes it look like it's supposed to be like the cracks, but it's too ornate to be a crack. It's more like they were turned to stone. Something was done to keep them from gaining the normal cracks, and then like these were carved into them before they were unstoned. Boy, oh boy, Mozu. Jeez. That's not a thing you say. That's definitely not a thing you say. That would only concern the harem selection process. We're here to dispose of troublemakers. Boy, the We Never Learn girls would not survive here. Also, those are pouches. Okay, that makes more sense. They're pouches. Look at the bottom right panel. Wait, did you mean on this page or this page? Oh boy, what is going on with this outfit? Like, clearly it's see-through, calling, one of those We Never Learn callbacks, as we all know. But she has this dark part that is dangling, like, it's not even a part of her outfit. It's not like it's attached to the cloth. It's, like, dangling in front of the cloth, so only from certain angles is it covering anything. From any other angle, it's covering absolutely nothing. That's an interesting aesthetic. Okay. So, what's that light? And then keep little Amaryllis at the very back, implying that it's like it's something that you can shield someone with. Like we know that Amaryllis wasn't turned to stone. What in the heck? The previous double page. Okay. We didn't have a double page. What are you talking about? Zaku. Or do you mean like the previous 2 pages? But even there, like I'm not seeing anything in particular. Oh, this. I mean, even there, this could still be a gauntlet, but I mean, I guess not. I guess that has to be stone, right? I don't know, because like this is clearly meant to be a gauntlet, but then this is. I mean, it could again. It could be like Ryusui, who just has like a shoulder plate for no real reason. Like this could just be a shoulder plate made of stone, especially because it's so big. Like it's such a large chunk. It's not like it's not form fitting in any way. I mean, I guess the other stone pieces aren't really form fitting either. But what could this be? Like, assuming it is a scientific thing, like, assuming this is something that exists in real life apart from the turning people to stone. Like, there's gas here. It looks like there's some sort of chemical reaction, actually. Like, it's something that when exposed to air or exposed to oxygen or nitrogen, maybe, it expands, and then it's not that the light transforms you, because they still had time. Like, again, like we saw before, everyone has time to freak out. They have time to put up their hands. This does explain why it is that they, like, all those people in the ocean were, like, reaching upwards, though. Because it's something they throw up, and then, like, it's always from an upwards vantage point. Okay, so we don't get to see anything else after that, but presumably she wasn't turned to stone. I mean, she could have been. I mean, they can take people out of stone, but, like, she doesn't have cracks or anything on her. Yeah. Must have been like the event that started it all thousands of years ago, but on a much smaller scale. Which, that's the thing. So, the light is not what turns people to stone, as far as I can tell, because it's not like the stoning isn't moving at the speed of light. So, it has to be something else. But even here, like, it wasn't that the light was turning people, it was that the light was, the vanguard. It's the first thing you see, and then something else was spreading across the entire world. So, it couldn't go through there. Like, it turned some of her hair to stone, but it didn't, like, go through the statues and hit her, right? Yeah, the light, it stopped right before me. Okay, so, hmm. Like, again, that's not how light works, but the effect, so to speak, the effect stopped right before her. It has a range. Like, there's an effective limit. It's not that it didn't go through. It did go through the statues. It stopped. Huh. I mean, this panel feels a bit weird, because I can't tell if this is falling or not. Like, is her hair being suspended upwards, or is it more just that, she's falling into the water? And because of actually, she might just be in the water, right? She's just in the water. That makes sense. I didn't notice, like, no, 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 no. She's standing on the raft. Like, this is before the boat breaks. She rips it off. Then it's floating in the air. Then the boat breaks and she, like, sinks to the bottom. Or no, it didn't even sink. It didn't break. Like, she's still on the boat. It's just she snaps it off there. The hair is still floating there, and then there's still this area of effect that she can see, that she can notice, that she can, like, physically move backwards from. We don't see it afterwards. So okay, I guess it didn't float. That's just, a shot for effect, so that we can see that it's still turning to stone. It's also interesting to note that it capsized, I assume, because all the people turned to stone. Like, it seems like they got heavier, maybe. Like, they I think so, right? It could be that. It might just be the fact that they can't balance themselves anymore, so they naturally tilted in one direction. They claim the stone sorcery has been passed down through the Master's bloodline, but I saw it with my own two eyes. The Master wasn't on the boat when it happened. Yeah, so it is a weapon. It's a physical thing. I mean, it is science. Even then, like, that's not that useful, because from what it looks like, it doesn't look like that's a multi-use weapon. It looks like an explosive. It looks like something that you manufacture, in which case getting one of them is not a big deal. The big deal is, like, stopping the manufacture of it, or, like, getting all the ones that exist if there are, like, a limited number. Oh boy, Soyuz is getting that first boy boner. But yes, so I'm really glad that Senku's focusing on it. Like, it's very on brand. That is his character. If it truly was magic, then he wouldn't give up, but he would still be like, yeah, we're screwed. Oh, that's true. Yeah. Like, because they're tossing it in the air, the danger is that, like, you have to be able to toss it out of the range where, like, it would actually hurt you. It also means that, like, before I was imagining something that was closer to, like, a lamp or something, or like a beam. But the fact that it's, like, an area of effect weapon also means that, like, it's a lot more dangerous for them to use it. I wonder, though, like, With hair, it doesn't really matter, but with a body part, like if part of your like hand is being turned to stone, could you like you like okay, let's say it's a finger. Like the stoning is traveling up your finger. Could you cut off the finger, lead turn for like fully turn to stone, then try to like stick it back on your fleshy hand and put some nitric acid on it to break it? Is that possible? Like theoretically, that should be possible. Because even if it's not like your entire body, like we know parts of a person can still remain in stone without being fully broken off, and it doesn't hurt them or anything, and you can still like break that part of the stone. The only difference there is that like the part came off. I think it should be fine. I mean, that's what Yuzuriha's doing, right? Like she's reassembling people that have been damaged. The big difference there is just that they're still completely frozen, as opposed to just having part of them being petrified. Because like if that's the case, I could see some really interesting fights taking place. I don't know if they're like appropriate for Shonen Jump, or I mean, I guess they would be fine for Jump. Like Jump does like people's arms being ripped off, but like Doctor Stone, it feels so weird to do Doctor Stone, where like you could have a fight where like Senku's hand starts to be stoned, and he has to like cut off his arm, and his arm's like bleeding as a result. That feels so off-brand for Doctor Stone. But that'd be pretty exciting. A reproducible phenomenon with rules to it is simply science. If we fight back with our science, we can't lose. The big question is also, like, does the master have advanced things? Like, the master clearly says, like, it's forbidden to advance things. It's forbidden to learn. It's forbidden to change things or, to develop new technology. But is he, like, does he also do that? Like, is he also stagnant? Or does he have, like, a secret pile of stuff he's been working on? I mean, theoretically, you wouldn't have to have a secret pile if you have the stoning. So it should be fine, I guess. I do like Amaryllis a lot, though. Like, I'm not usually a fan of characters that use their cuteness as a weapon. It's very hit or miss for me, but I do like the way she's doing it now. Like, she has a reason for it, and it makes sense. Like, she is a likable character, and the parts of her that aren't likable, quote unquote, the parts that are a bit annoying, are annoying in a fun way. Okay, we're talking about infiltrating a harem. Where will I find a girl who can fight? I mean, we've got one. We've got Kohaku, right? I mean, maybe they're going to do this. Maybe they're going to find a different girl, but I feel like we've got Kohaku, right? Yep, that's what we're doing. That's what we're doing. Look, cute. How hard could it be? Oh boy, it's time to pull a My Fair Lady. Test subject, will he go Yowza? I love that Soyuz is the straight guy here. Like, Soyuz is the person who has an attraction to women that you can use to determine whether a girl is cute or not. That said, I mean, Catmouth Kohaku is pretty cute by herself. I don't really see a problem with that. It's time for the sexy side of science. Oh boy, it's time for a sexy chapter of Dr. Stone next week. Overall, good chapter. I like it. Like, I like that we got some progress, especially when it comes to the stoning. Dr. Stone isn't usually a series where I'm like waiting for progress. They usually have something happening basically constantly, but this felt like a special like step forward. It let us see a little more of it. It showed us how scary the stoning is, and at the same time, it created the sense that it can be fought, that there is a way to get around it. We don't know quite how it works, but it can be dealt with. I mean, damage. I don't think the village really likes this, though. I mean, I don't really like this sexually either, but I mean, I can see what their problem is. I don't think that, like, athletic cat girls are what this village is all about. I mean, there's really nothing else to really think about. The path is very clear. Get Kohaku into the harem. Once that happens, like, honestly, she might just be able to fight the guy, the master himself, or at least the left and right hands. I could see that going on. Like, I could see this being like an infiltration arc that turns into either an outright fight or just a like, let's get one of the bombs. Like, let's get the stoning stuff, and then from there, let's dissect it. Let's try to figure out how this works. All right. Well, Dr. Stone, good chapter this week. Not did I rank the Promised Neverland? No, I didn't. So Promised Neverland, not great, not my favorite. Very much like an Actage or Last Saiyuki chapter where it was very much what I thought. So not as good as Black Clover, not as good as Last Saiyuki, better than Food Wars. I'd say better than Food Wars, for sure. And then Dr. Stone, very good. Uh, on the same level as Chainsaw Man and We Never Learn. Like, where it lacked in outright excitement, it still had, like, that conceptual excitement. We had progress, we had stuff going on, and I am excited for what comes next here. So, below We Never Learn, below Chainsaw Man, above Black Clover. I think that's fair. So, we have one more thing to do. That's right, it's time for My Hero Academia, chapter 229. All right, boy, oh boy, oh boy. I mean, if something's gonna trigger you, this is a big oof. Like, if Twice gets disabled here and he can't do anything and someone else has to come in and save him, I'm not going to complain. I really will not. Like, we've set up his trauma before, and there's nothing more triggering than this. Yeah, time for more best arc. I've been absolutely loving My Villain Academia. Again, we did it on the podcast, I believe. Is the episode out? It should be. Check out that episode of the weekly manga discussion podcast. You can check the link below. It was a fun time. I don't know if we delved super deep into all of this, but like we talked about basically the entire arc up to this point. Oh, and even Giron's already been like very concerned, but we know that Jin and Giron have like a more special connection than the rest. If not because Jiren like cares about him more, then at the very least because Jin like cares about like he has more of a sentimental connection to Giron. But that's the thing, like even if it was just this, I think it's actually more dangerous than having Toga involved. Because Toga's involved, I feel like that's what'll get Twice to really like pull himself together. Oh, that's me. I'm killing her. She gave me a hanky to cover me up, and I'm her killer. Oh boy, oh boy. This again, like it's one of those things where if I were to have Horikoshi like come over to America to write some like Western comics, I would love for him to do some X-Men, specifically because like you can do entire arcs. Like you can do a run that is just villains, like the Oops All Villains arc, and then you can just leave. You just have someone else do all the hero stuff. I'm not saying that Horikoshi is bad at the hero stuff. Like I love My Hero Academia in general as a whole. But this is definitely a strength, and that makes sense because, like, I think everyone loves villains to some extent. You know, the villains are where you can get super creative, whereas with the heroes, you have to like have them reflect the villains. You have to have them bounce off the villains. But there's inherently less you can do with them as opposed to all these other interesting different characters with wildly different philosophies who don't have to last an entire series. So this is the start of his darkness. Like, from what we know, like all we know about him is that he made a bunch of clones and then had them do stuff for him. Like he didn't even commit crimes as far as we know. So how far did he really stumble? Oh, jeez. Okay, that's rough. I mean, that's not something he even intended though. It's just pure happenstance. It's just one bad day. My folks died when I was in middle school. They were killed in some villain attack. Maybe they'll come into play later, maybe not. Ah, I've been in this situation before. You know, metaphorically. The situation where you want to talk to yourself for a bit. Where you've got a question and the only person you can debate with is yourself. So you sit down with yourself and you just have a nice talk. Oh, that's cool. We've never seen him actually make a clone before. We've always seen like the aftermath of it, but I don't think we've ever seen this. That's cool. When a person's life starts spiraling, what's the one thing they want? Comfort. Am I wrong? Going after that single-mindedly led to one mistake after another. It wasn't until I hit rock bottom that I realized my biggest mistake of all. I couldn't even trust myself. Oof. Okay, and so I assume Giron then was the first person to like give him the mask to give him this perspective of here, like you can become whole if you take on this identity. Right. I don't know. I'm pretty sure they brought this up before. The idea that he doesn't even know if he's the real one or if he's a clone. So naturally, he wouldn't want to ever like take enough damage to to be able to see whether he's a clone or not. I would. I really would. Like Twice is just an interesting character in general. I will always remember the post-Trump chapter of My Hero Academia. Like literally right after Trump got elected into the U.S. presidency, I remember reading My Hero and seeing that the chapter that just came out at that point was the Twice chapter. The chapter where like the tone of it was so completely different. It was from his perspective. We didn't even know who it was at the very first. Like it was so good. It always stands out to me as like one of the best My Hero chapters. So I definitely read more Twice Gaiden. Oh, grab his arm, break it. I think this is going to be his power up. As insane as that sounds. Like, uh, yeah, that's got to be it. He'll break his arm and then he'll realize, okay, I'm 100% me. Like, there's no way I'm the clone. Alternatively, for the big twist, he could be a clone. He could just disappear here. That would be the wildest twist. But there's no way, right? There's no way. Ah, we're doing it. We're doing it. It hurts, 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 hurts. It hurts like hell, but I'm still here. So, I mean, that in itself is kind of a power up. The fact that he doesn't have to hold back anymore. That before, like, even for the sake of his friends, he wouldn't let himself get hurt because, oh boy, what happens if I get hurt enough? All right, come on, twice. Move aside, you fakes. I won't watch a friend die. Okay. Oh my god. Also, this is actually extremely clever. Like, he's finally making a bunch of himself, but, like, most importantly, he doesn't have his mask on when he's doing it. Whereas all the others do have their masks. So now he has a clear differentiation point. Like, I mean, that and the fact that he has a broken arm. But, like, now it's safe. There's no way he can mess up. There's no way that he can, like, be questioning who's the real one. They all know that, okay, the original is the one who got his hand broken. The rest of us are clones. And even then, like, now that he wants to save twice, that he wants to save Toga, not twice. He wants to save Toga. He wants to save the other, like, members of the League of Villains. Now that he has a drive that he would be willing to die for, that he would be willing to get himself hurt for. Like, all of his clones will also, like, have that drive, that desire, that feeling of, I will sacrifice myself if it means helping my friends. That's really all he needed. Like, he doesn't need a new power, because his old power is extremely powerful as is. He was just holding himself back all this time, and now he doesn't have to anymore. Well, I am hype. I hope next chapter, like, I feel like we're due for another cuts to another perspective, but I don't want one. But I think we could do that in a cool way. Like, I'd be okay if it was half twice, like, marching forward, destroying all of these, the fakes, and then, like, from there, we bleed into the twice clones running around the city. And, like, from there, like, them helping out with all the other fights. That'd be a cool way of, like, broadening the perspective of the fights. I'm so curious to see what his power, like, what are the limits of his power? Because presumably, from what we've seen, it doesn't seem like he gets tired when he makes clones, and it doesn't seem like his clones get tired when they make clones. Like, we haven't really seen his clones make clones, though. That's the thing. Like, that's all speculation. If he can do it without loss of energy, then theoretically, he can just make an infinite army of himself. Like, I get the utility of making a bunch of Dabi clones or a bunch of Rappas or, like, I mean, yeah, it's true. Like, he doesn't even have to make someone who is physically here. He could just make, like, anyone he's ever met. If he knows enough about All Might, maybe he could make All Mights. Maybe he could make All for One. Like, we don't know. We genuinely don't know what the limits of his power are. But even if he can only, like, if he only makes himself, if there's no, like, loss of power, like, if each twice clone is, like, at full strength, and then those ones can make more full strength twice clones, then theoretically he could just fill the entire town with himself. Like, not even in terms of a fighting strategy, he could just literally make so much of himself that he destroys all the buildings with a flood of corpses, or a flood of, like, you know, living twices. Also, oh my god, all it takes is one bad day. It was. I said that as a reference to you know, The Killing Joke. I cannot believe. I mean, I can believe it. Horikoshi loves comics. He made the exact same reference. God damn, Horikoshi, I love you. I mean, that's one of the reasons why I love My Hero. It's the fact that even when it's not the best, I still feel like I'm on a, like, not the same wavelength as Horikoshi, but I feel like I'm usually on the same wavelength. I get the feeling of it. I get the feel that My Hero is a series written by someone who loves Western comics. And I love Western comics. I know that vibe. I know what it feels like. That's true. He can't. I mean, it comes down to, though, like, how does he create the mentality of the clones? Like, could he make a clone that's just a little bit off? Could he make a clone that is, like, a cool All Might or, like, an evil All Might? Like, how much, like, we know he needs to have the physical measurements exactly. Like, he has to actually measure them perfectly. But how does he do that with the minds? Like, if he makes a clone of All for One right now, like, can he do it? Does he have enough information to be able to do it? And if he does, like, how does that All for One clone work? Does it have all the quirks that the current All for One has? Does it have the quirks that he had back when Twice first measured him in this, like, fantasy scenario where he did get measured? Like, how does this go down? God, I want to know more. I really want to know more. You know, okay, when I said cool All Might, the image I had in my head was of All Might smoking. I don't know how that fully relates. I guess that's it. It's an All Might that is a cool guy in the sense that he's not good. And the opposite of good is cool. Is that what my mind's trying to say? Am I that weird? Boy, oh boy, oh boy. Well, that's my hero. Oh boy, rankings. I forgot to rank it. That was a fantastic chapter. I don't think it was as good as One Piece. I think I enjoyed it almost as much as We Never Learned, if not more. Definitely more than Chainsaw Man. I'll put it above We Never Learn. Because while I had a lot of fun with We Never Learn, I do think this was like that was a one-shot We Never Learn chapter. It had all the fun of one chapter of We Never Learn. Whereas this chapter of My Hero Academia has been a long time coming. It's been building up for quite a while. Like, it's a difference, again, between like consistent buildup versus explosive buildup. I talked a lot about how like Actage, for instance, or Last Saiyuki has very consistent buildup, and so while I consistently enjoy it, I don't really think of it as like, man, this was an amazing chapter, because it's just always that consistent amount of amazing. In the same way, like I don't think My Hero is as consistently good as We Never Learn, but I think that it has more times where it's like super standout and more times where it's not as standouts. And because of that, the high peaks like hit me harder. I think of them as being objectively better or subjectively better. It's a weird thing, but like that's how my mind works. I'm slowly starting to realize that. Anyways, let's do those author comments. Give me those author comments. Also, homie, please feel free to let me know. Like right now in chat, I'll talk to you when I get to it. So, Beast Children, don't worry about the rules. I just want you to understand the passion behind rugby. That's what this manga is all about. Please give it a chance. I will. Like, again, not if I read chapter 1 on my own and I end up actually really liking it, I'll keep on reading it. I'm not like writing it off. And I do like this perspective of he likes rugby, but he doesn't want people to be like super obsessed with the rules. It's closer to just like, hey, I want to show you the visceral feel of rugby. Like, that feels like it could translate to a successful Shonen Jump series. That's a very shonen way of looking at it. So, I'm excited. Even if I don't really like the art and I don't really like this feeling of the series, and he couldn't really like transfer that passion to me in the first half of the chapter, like I'll give it a chance. Because that's the right attitude. Like, that's an attitude I really like. Does the fact that I bought Isekai Oji-san Volume 2 mean that I've become addicted to this manga? What is Isekai Oji-san? Oh boy, well, I have not read this. I've read a lot of Isekai, but I have not read this. The fact that Oda's reading it means that, it doesn't really mean anything. Oda has very interesting taste in media, so I will check it out, though. Maybe on the channel, maybe not. We'll see. It depends on who owns it, actually. Like, quick check. Does Isekai Oji-san, like, is it owned by Shueisha? If it is, that's a clear no, but... What? Oh, Katakawa. Okay. So, it seems safe. Maybe it'll be on Chapter 1s. Who knows? There's not a single main or secondary writer that wears glasses. Emu never wore glasses. Mains and secondary writers that wore glasses. Okay, like... Going from the Heisei era, we have Kuga, no glasses. Agito, no glasses. Ryuki, so Knight and Ryuki, no glasses. Blade, no glasses. Wait. No, Tachibana does not wear glasses. Never mind. I'm dumb. Faiz, no. I mean, God. Also, I keep on mixing up Faiz and Blade, because Faiz is the fourth rider in the Heisei era, but it's Kamen Rider Faiz, which automatically makes me think of 5. So Blade, Hibiki, no, obviously not. Kabuto, no. Deno, no. Kiva, no. No, Iksa definitely does not. It depends on what you mean by like mains and secondaries in Kiva. I mean, if we assume Kengo and Kiva, then no. Decade, no. Okay, Double, definitely not. O's definitely not. Forza, definitely not. Boy, oh boy, I think you're right. Wizard, no. Yeah. Gaim, no. Drive, no. Boy, oh boy, I think you're right. I mean, Deno, that's not wearing glasses, though. Like, what homie means is, a character, like, if you think of their character design, you think of them wearing glasses. That's not the case in Deno. That's not the main character. I mean, legitimately, it's not the main character. That is legitimately a form change of the main character. A real life form change, but still a form change. Yeah, you are right. Like, once you get to tertiary riders, sure, but there are no primaries or secondaries that wear glasses. That's so weird. Especially because, like, sure, there's the danger of, oh, you don't want someone rolling around on the ground with glasses, but the whole trope of, taking off your glasses to look super excited or interesting, or, like, that feels like something Ryder would have already done. Also, damage. Nice dab on Oda. Nice, powerful flex on Oda. Hey, Akira Kubo, like, enjoyed that shout out. I am really glad. Like, again, it feels like Akira Kubo is very grateful to be here, which makes sense considering. Wait, did Naruto and Black Clover run at the same time? Or if not, did Akira Kubo do something else? Or no, never mind. Before I mean, maybe Black Clover and Naruto ran concurrently at some point, but I don't think so. I think he's talking about Hungry Joker. Hungry Joker ran at the same time as Naruto, and Tabata Sensei wrote Hungry Joker. Good series, by the way. Kind of messy. I see why it was canceled. More interesting on its face than Black Clover, but I don't think it was like unjustly canceled. I really like the current arc. I love the characters too. Thank you so much, Inagaki Sensei. It feels so weird coming from Boichi. Like, not just coming from Boichi, but also having it be an author comment. Like, he's just so... It feels like he's almost surprised. Like, oh boy, I sure am happy that Dr. Stone is good. As if he's not part of Dr. Stone. Man, Posca's really churning out those volumes. I started watching Terrace House, and I'll get to Spider-Man next. I'm blessed to have so much stuff to watch. I've been enjoying not Terrace House, but if you are a fan of Gaki no Tsukai or Downtown or like general like Japanese manzai comedy, the Wednesday Downtown project is doing this thing called... Okay, they've been posting these on Reddits, but I think they have a website, I believe. It's this thing called Monster House, which is a lot like Terrace House. The main thing is there's this comedian, this very fat man known as Kuro-chan, who I think is extremely funny. He's a train wreck of a human being. He has this very high-pitched voice and this very like low disregard for other human beings. And the gimmick of this is basically it's Terrace House, but you've got 5 normal like young adults, the kinds of people you would actually have in Terrace House. And then one of them is just this big fat man who is a deep, like, not sociopath, but a man who definitely wants to bang a bunch of girls. It's an experience. I would recommend it. Like, go to the Wednesday Downtown project websites. I think they have spreadsheets that do they have a Monster House section on this? I don't know. But if you want to watch a massive train wreck, please check that out. It's fun. They've done almost all of it. They have like 1 episode left. I was helped a lot this week by the music of Yellow Studs. Having the perfect music playing makes things a lot easier. I mean, does he just mean the perfect music in terms of like, like it makes him draw better? Or is it music that fits this arc? I'll check this out. Like, obviously not right now, but let's pop this on Spotify for later. I do want to check that out because like this arc has been fantastic, and I would like to like reread some of it while listening to the music that Horikoshi was listening to when he was doing it. Like, I like doing that with JoJo's too. It's a immersive experience. I realized I don't want to own a large dog. What I want is to live with a Pokemon. Also, wait. Was Gege Akutami not... Oh, I was thinking of Gotsuke. Sorry. But big mood. Interesting mood. Like, I do agree to an extent. Like, I haven't had a cat because I've always been so concerned over, like, oh boy, will I be a good pet owner? Honestly, it was always a lot closer to be like, how do I put this? I've always been concerned about my abilities as a parent, and having an animal is very similar to being a parent in a way. So I was always concerned about, like, oh no, like, what if I neglect this cat? So I would definitely be more into owning a Pokemon, especially like this vibe. I think part of the vibe is also this idea of just owning an animal that's very large, but that's also like not scary. It's a large animal that does obey you and that is like easily trained. I can feel that. I want that. God, Yuki Tabata is living his best life. I've had this mood before. I mean, I've always lived in one town, so I've never like gone back to my hometown per se. But I've definitely had this mood of like going to a certain area that I haven't gone to in a while and noticing that, oh, it's different, it's changed. This place I ate at is gone. This place I used to buy books at is gone. That's true. You can't. I mean, you can neglect a Pokemon, but also, I mean, they have Pokeballs. That's the thing. Like, presumably, like you can put a Pokemon in your PC, and then when you bring it out, it doesn't have any hard feelings towards you. So I feel like that's a lot safer. You could just like have a Pokemon in like if you're in a horrible mood, you can't you can't feed it or whatever. Like even if you don't have a job or something, you can't like buy Pokemon food. You could just put it in your PC, and presumably that's okay, right? Right? Watermelons are available again, so I've been buying and eating them. I love watermelons. That's Fujimoto. That's the Fujimoto life. Very bland author comment here. Seeing something all the time but not knowing what it's called is actually pretty common. That's probably true. Like most of the thing, to be fair, this is a thing where like if there is something that I see a lot that I don't know the name of, I wouldn't be able to tell you because I don't know the name of it. Like I would just be like, "Oh yeah, that thing exists." It would take like someone specifically pointing it out to me for me to realize like, "Oh, I don't know what that is." That's very strange. Anyways, those were all the author comments. This was a fantastic time. I'll just put up the rankings. They're also down in the description below if you're watching the VOD. This was absolutely super duper ultra fun. The first half of this was an hour. The rest of this was an hour and 45, so almost 3 hours. That's pretty normal for now. And honestly, I feel great. I genuinely feel great. I think that stripping down jump to just like series I really love reading has been great. Well, series I really love reading and also Samurai 8. We'll see how that goes. Like I'm giving Samurai 8 at least a volume before I drop it. Cuz so far like it hasn't been bad. It's been middling. Anyways, thank you all so very much for watching. Bye for now. Yeah.